for joining me. This is Coach Indy, certified fitness and nutrition coach, and I specialize in emotional eating and intuitive eating. And so I wanted to come on here and talk about a real life chats with Indy about keeping my last name, even post divorce. So if you are um, a woman that's been married and you switch your last name to your husband's name, let me know in the comments below. Or if you've been divorced and you've went through a last name change, then let me know. If you're here, then hashtag here, give me a like so that I can see you. And then if you are watching this on replay, then hashtag replay. So I just want to try something new and just do like a chat in real life type of post. And so if you have any like fitness, nutrition questions or just real life questions, then let me know. I'd love to answer them. And so, yeah, if you're in one of my like free groups right now and you're watching this from there, probably try to hop on my personal profile if you plan on asking me any questions, because I can only really see them live on my personal profile. So yeah, just want to do a real life chat of keeping my last name even after divorce. And so I have gotten this question a couple of times about whether I'm going to change my last name or not. And the answer to that is I'm going to keep my last name because, for one, my maiden last name is Marshall. It's a little bit longer. It's like, and I honestly like having a shorter last name. My first name, obviously being India, is short, five characters, and Harris being 6 characters. I honestly it's just more convenient to have a short last name, but also it's a lot of paperwork. It's a lot of paperwork, and it's also my kid's last name. So I know like a lot of women, when they get a divorce, they will keep their last name for their kids' sake because they want to keep the same last name as their kids. And that definitely applies to me. Like my kid's last name is Harris. You know, you have to pick them up from school or drop them off in school or enroll them in sports or, you know, anything you do with your kids. It's just easier to have your same last name. And then I have like passports, bank accounts, credit card accounts, like so much legal paperwork would have to be redone if I was to go back to my maiden name. And technically, after divorce, you don't even have to go back to your maiden name or your married name. You could literally pick any last name that you want. So and you know, the lawyer made that very clear to me. He's like, if you wanted to change your name to Bob Schmo, you could. Um, so honestly, that's actually pretty cool. Like that you can change your name to anything that you want, including your first name. Like you could just change your whole identity if you want to. Like, you know, I'm gonna live my best life and become like Britney Spears, or like just change your name to anything you want. But yeah, I'm keeping my last name. Even like my business is enrolled under India Harris, so literally everything would just be a headache if I had to change my name. So I talked about my kids have the same last name as me. It's easier having a shorter name, Marshall compared to Harris. It'd be a lot of legal paperwork, including passports, driver's license, the lease I just signed, everything. There were some other reasons, but I don't know why it's slipping my mind right here at the moment. My nursing license, literally everything. Everything would be more complicated in life if I were to do that. So yeah, let me know. Drop me some comments if you are a woman that like decided to keep their same last name after divorce, or um, did you even change your name when you got married? Like, did you just keep your, because for instance, like Beyonce, I think she hyphenated hers to Beyonce Knowles Carter. Are you a woman that hyphenated your last name when you got married? I'm curious. Or do you have any fitness or nutrition questions, or just like real life questions? So, um, so I finally thought of the last point that I wanted to make, which is actually a pretty important one. So I'm not really sure why I forgot it, but um, it's something more like deeper and like personal to me, is that I like my grandmother, she got divorced twice. And her last divorce, she said, I'm keeping my last name because I earned it. And like what she meant by that is like, and like I feel like my I earned my last name in a different reason than what she had. But like I feel like I earned it in that my parents did not get married. They tried to have a child without getting married, which I think is silly. Let's see. Rhonda said, I did not. I changed mine back. And then someone else said, I kept my husband's last name because credit wise, it made a big difference. Plus, my business, etc., carry his last name. Exactly. So, yeah, I know, Rhonda, a lot of women just change theirs back. I think that that's kind of like the social expectation too. Plus, it always just depends too on like what the relationship you have with your ex as well. So correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong, but I think it's like the social expectation to like change your name back to your maiden name. And then whoever left that about their credit and their business, that's, two of the reasons for me. But going back to, my grandmother having two divorces, and she said that she earned her last name. Um, I feel like I earned my last name, and that my parents did not get divorced. They were trying to have me, they were trying to have a child out of wedlock, which I always find so strange. Like, even when I was little, I was like angry when I found that out. I was like, what? You were trying to have a child out of wedlock? That doesn't make any sense. Like, who does that? Um, so I earned my last name in that I tried to do things the right way. Like I tried, because this year in September would have been 10 years with the same person, having my kids in wedlock, and like trying to build, something with the same person. And so I feel like I earned my last name in that regard, is that like I tried to break a generational curse of, not doing things the right way, having a child out of wedlock, and things just going to hell because of it. um, because I like had a crappy childhood. And a lot of you guys that like know me, like, a little bit of my story of just like growing up in poverty, growing up in homelessness, growing up around drugs and alcohol and pornography and abuse, spousal abuse, molestation, like just a lot of dysfunction I grew up around. So I earned my last name, and that I tried to do things the right way. I tried to raise my kids in like a stable household, a Christian household, a loving household, them not being exposed to drugs and alcohol and abuse and um, and pornography and homelessness and poverty, and just so much disruption and dysfunction that came about in my childhood. So that's what I mean by like I earned my last name. I tried my best to stay 10 years with this specific person. So plus all the headache of having to change my last name, and it's just more convenient to keep it the same. So let me know if you have like a similar experience of either changing your last name or keeping it. Which one did you prefer? Was it easier to keep your last name, or did you prefer to change yours back due to either like the social dynamics of that you and your ex had, or yeah, let me know. And so I'd love to hear from you. Let me know if you have any fitness or nutrition or questions as well, because that's ultimately what I do. But I wanted to try something different with having like a real chat, real talk with you guys, and yeah. So I'd love to hear that from you guys. Drop me your fitness and nutrition questions or real life questions. And yeah, if you're watching this on replay, then hashtag replay. Let's see. So we've been live here 11 minutes. I'll wait to see if anybody has any questions here for a minute. I'm gonna get some water. I'm got a lot to do, because if you've been following my story on my page, I'm actually I'm moving from Columbus, Ohio to Savannah, Georgia here in 10 days. It's coming up really, really close. And what diet plan do you use daily for best results? My weight is always up and down. Ooh, that's a great, great question. So, thanks for asking that. It doesn't show your name, so but I'll get to see it like after I log off. But so diet is the key word there that I'm going to hone on in. And ooh, Rhonda said I just wanted him to know that I was done. See, that's like I feel you on that, because when women get fed up to a certain point, it's like, no, I want all ties broke off. I want all ties loose. So that's just like all perspective, right? Like every woman has their way of showing that they were done. For me, it was the fact that I even filed for divorce. It was like, you know what? I'm filing. Like, this is it. Like, my mental health is 100% more worth it than anything else. But okay, sorry, let me go back. ADHD moment. What diet plan do you use for best results? My weight is always up and down. So the key word that I'm going to hone in on there is diet, because for my clients, none of them are on meal plans. None of them are on diets. It's all about creating sustainable habits that you can keep for the rest of your life. Because if you ever notice, people will go from, like, say keto, for instance. I like to pick on keto a lot, if you follow me. But say that they lose their weight doing keto, they cut all carbs, or say that they lose their weight by intermittent fasting, and there's only a certain hour, a certain window of a bacon eaten. Whichever diet that you pick in order to lose weight, that's what you're going to have to do in order to sustain those results. So you may lose 30 pounds doing any one specific diet, but if it's not sustainable, if it's not something that you can keep for the rest of your life, then then you're going to put that weight right back on once you go back to your old eating ways. So the only way to have the best results, lose the weight and keep it off, is going to be to create sustainable habits that you can do for the rest of your life without having to cut out an entire food group of carbs, or without having to only restrict yourself to eating during certain times of the day, or without having to do some meal plan that's on a piece of paper and then following that. Because once you fall off of, oh shoot, I just binge eat off of a whole bunch of carbs and I'm supposed to be on keto, then there goes your results. And you're not in ketosis anymore. So I give my clients a specific set of guidelines that we build on them one by one until you graduate the program, and then you keep those habits for the rest of your life. So just for an example, increasing your water intake. Increasing your water intake, focusing on your veggies and your fruits and your proteins, having carbs in moderation. And when I say carbs, I mean like the processed foods, having the processed foods in moderation, and like the fun foods in moderation. And then you want to also implement increasing your activity. So what that may look like is going for a daily walk. Going for a daily walk is going to be one of the simplest ways to increase the calories that you burn without it being super strenuous on your body. And walking is considered a form of low impact cardio. So, and then weightlifting is what gives you like the muscles, like that sculpted look that you want as a woman. So, yeah. So if you want to chat about how much my program is, then we can do a free nutrition audit where we just do a consultation like 101. Because I saw you drop the question, how much is my program? Then we can do just a free consultation one-on-one. And just chat and make sure that it's going to be a good fit for the both of us, and see if the program is right for you. But yeah, essentially is your water intake, your fruits and your veggies, getting back to more of a whole foods way of life, of eating. Because once I do a nutrition audit on my clients for the first week that they're in my program, they're like, oh my God, I had no idea that I was literally just eating like processed fun foods and meat. That's it. And it's like, it's okay to have like the processed and the fun foods and meats, but we gotta like put the fun foods in their place and implement more whole foods, increase our water, increase our activity with more walking and more weightlifting. So that's mainly the answer to that. It was a long answer, but it's more so of making it a lifestyle, because we live in this hyper convenient society where we want the teas, we want the wraps, we want the meal replacement shakes and the waist trainers, but that stuff is not going to get you long-term sustainable results. And a diet like keto, intermittent fasting, yada, 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 I'm not like 100% against it, but for most people, that's not going to be sustainable for the rest of their lives. So hope that helps answer your question. Anybody else have a question? So I got like a really good amount of views. Like at one point we were at 9. So that's pretty dope for it being 1 p.m. on a Monday. So we might do some more of these like real life chats, and then you guys can have time to ask me like any fitness or nutrition questions as well here in the future. So yeah, inbox me, DM me, and someone asked me if I'm Indian. That's hilarious, actually. No, I am not Indian. I am African American from Michigan, living in Ohio, moving to Savannah, Georgia. How about that? But I am not Indian. Got about 74% African, 24% white, and 2% Asian/native, according to my ancestry.com. So, a little bit of that 2% native slash Indian is like Sri Lanka, India. So, I mean, if you count that little tiny bit as Indian, why does my name contain India? Oh, well, my mom loved countries that were like listed in the Bible, and India is actually like, I think it's in the book of Esther of the Bible. So it's like literally only in 2 places in the Bible. I think one is in the book of Esther. It was just like it basically just said like the Queen of India was traveling. It wasn't like anything significant in the Bible, but my mom just liked biblical names. So I have a brother that's named Syrian. Like the country Syria is listed a lot in the Bible. And then India's in the Bible a couple times. Not as anything significant though. And then I have a brother, his middle name is Jeremiah. So just all like biblical slash places. But yep, that's how I got my name. Any other life questions? Fitness questions? Nutrition questions? All right, I'm gonna cut it off here since we're sitting at like 21 minutes. And I hope that you guys have a blessed day. You're actually Indian. Well, that's cool. Namaste. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. It's Coach Indy signing out. Faith, consistency, and hard work. Almost forgot my closing, guys. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.